The exact, and because quite a few of you have been asking, the exact training structure that won me this belt, defended it twice by KO, and will get me a UFC contract on August 15th on Dana White's Contender Series. So this is the exact training structure that I've been using since my return to Cage Warriors, since Harry's debut in Cage Warriors. Exact training structure that's brought me all the way to winning the belt and now preparing for Dana White's Contender Series. So we'll start with Monday, because generally weeks start with Monday. Monday morning, in fight camp, normally pads. Pad work on Monday morning. It wakes you up, it gets you ready, and it's more game plan specific stuff. We generally don't do an insane amount of pads in a session. We'll do 5-5s. 25-minute work, might do some accessories, might do a little bit extra, might do a bit more of a warm-up, more game plan, shadow boxing, but it's not an insane amount of work. When me and Harry hit pads with each other, this is the main difference in fight camp. So out of fight camp, we might just do a self-directed session where it's shadow boxing, bag work, drills, and we'll just drill by ourselves like 2 or 3 hours, 20, 30 rounds, crazy amount of rounds. When it becomes fight camp, it's time for intensity. So it's almost more, if you watched our pad work in fight camp and you were squinting, you might not realize it's pad work. You might think it's sparring, because the pad man's working hard and moving around and clinching back and throwing back, working defense, working footwork, and it's more fight specific. It carries over to the fight. That gets us woke up. That gets your body woke up in the morning so that you're ready for the big session on the night. Monday evening sessions are one of the biggest sessions of the week because it's MMA drills and MMA sparring. These MMA drills on a Monday night are normally focused between striking to takedown, or striking to takedown defense, or striking to clinch, breaking and striking again, or striking to clinch, doing damage in the clinch, then the takedown. This kind of transitional shoot boxing drills, which kind of tie the MMA skills into the grappling skills and that stand-up aspect. And then it's the full MMA spars. Depending who's got fights soon, if it's more the amateur lads fighting soon, we'll do 3-minute rounds. If it's the pro lads fighting soon, if me or Harry's fighting soon, we'll do 5-minute rounds. Depending how far we are out, dictates the amount of rounds. Generally, we do more rounds a bit further out from the fight and then cut the rounds down, especially because I'm preparing for a 3-rounder again. Most of my fight camps have been 5-round fight camps where I've been getting 6 or 7 rounds and then breaking it down to 5 rounds. Now we're doing 5 rounds and breaking it down to 3 as we get close. After that, might do some bag work, might do some conditioning intervals just to make sure we can hit hard or put out a good work rate after the fatigue of sparring, but it's not a crazy amount. Tuesday. So Tuesday morning, first strength and conditioning session of the week. We worked strength and conditioning at Unit 29 with Andy Coulson. Andy Coulson was the first person in the UK to be trained and certified by world famous strength and conditioning coach Phil Daru. Strength and conditioning coach, he was formerly of American Top Team, strength and conditioning coach of Dustin Poirier. Andy Coulson was one of the first person in the country, I think he was the first person in the country to be certified by Phil Daru. And what we generally do tends to depend on how far we are out from a fight. If we're not even in fight camp, a lot of it's foundation, strength work, nothing crazy. But it's when fight camp starts is where it gets more specific, more explosive movements. We might split it up. So if in a session we're working speed and power lower body, speed squats, speed deadlifts with bands, then we'll do the strength in the upper body. Then we'll do some accessory exercises and a bit of conditioning. But because it's the focus is speed and power, he knows how much conditioning we're getting in sparring, pads, running, all this stuff. It's not like a crazy wombo conditioning finisher, just a few intervals. Intervals, you tend to get into intervals more as you're in fight camp. So it tends to be that way. Speed, lower body, strength, upper body. And then the next session in the week, which is Friday, will be the other way around. Tuesday night, jiu-jitsu. No-gi jiu-jitsu. We focus it towards MMA, but we break it down like this. So we'll go over a position, whether it's side control, offense from top side control, defense from top side control. And we'll get specific drills in. Doing the advanced class, we get a bit of resistance in those drills, so it's a bit more realistic. And then we'll get positional rounds going. We always get positional rounds. You make your biggest improvements in positional rounds, and then big open rounds at the end, maybe 5 rounds of rolls. Depending on who I'm fighting, if I want to be more offensively wrestling or defensive, I might just get a round of escapes from really bad positions to finish off the session. That's Tuesday night. Wednesday, we go to Newcastle Fight Centre and train with UK MMA legend Peter Irving. At Newcastle Fight Centre, Itai Parva BJJ, and we really have a really technical session here. Break things down, break a specific aspect of grappling down or transitional fighting down. Maybe it's a bit of unseated guard or cage work, side ride position, and we really go over it very technically. This session of the week is the biggest knowledge buff that I get all week. It just buffs that knowledge stat. It's really in depth. So many little details that can just change the game. We get shown a little detail in 2 minutes that can completely change how I'm doing things for the rest of fight camp. Absolutely brilliant session at Newcastle Fight Centre. And then on the evening, this game is the GOAT game ever. That's a GOAT, but this is the real GOAT. On the evening, Wednesday, can be quite a hard session because it's a positionally focused MMA session, but this one was more about banging out the intervals. So we'll go over a position again, normally what we did at Newcastle Fight Centre on the morning. We'll go over that same position again, really drill it out. This time it's more about just drilling the movements through, drilling it intensely, and then we'll just do positional goals from relevant positions. 2 minutes attacking the position, 2 minutes defend the position, and then we just bounce through those positions. So say if it's mount, 2 minutes, you're on top in mount and you're looking to control strike, get your submissions. 2 minutes, you're looking to escape mount and you work through different partners of that. We might work through a different round like a takedown conversion. Takedown conversion round's really good. You let someone take you down. As soon as you hit the mat, you're scrambling. The person who hits the floor is trying to get back up as soon as possible. The person who finishes a takedown is trying to hold his partner down, control him, throw strikes, show strikes, get into submission positions, get into really dominant positions. So we work through like 2 or 3 positions like that, and maybe some striking drills, technical focused striking drills, and maybe some bag work just to finish. It's not another session in and of itself. It's more just to make sure you can hit sharply or have keen defense after you've done all these positions and your arms are gassing and your lungs are gassing. Because these positional rounds where you just set 2 minutes are actually a lot harder than just going, let's just have a floor roll or let's just have a floor wrestle, because when you start in a position, you're always in contact. Thursday morning is a free self-directed session. This could be a number of things. So it could be a run if the weather's nice, if I feel that's what's needed. Could be a run or a few sprints, a few hill sprints. Just getting outdoors. It's nice to train outdoors, get some fresh oxygen instead of that Linthorpe Village fog. Could be just self-directed bag work and shadow boxing work. This is stuff where we're taking stuff that we've seen in sparring, that we've experienced in sparring, maybe Monday night sparring. I remember I was getting caught with this shot, I need to work on that counter, or I was getting my foot out of position when I was throwing this right hand. I'm just going to drill the absolute fuck out of that on the bags. I might get some interval training and self-directed interval training, but we get a lot of interval training, we get a lot of cardio anyway. So it's not always a must. It's normally a self-directed session on a Thursday. Occasionally, because it's a big session on the night, very occasionally, if the body is just worn down, you can take that morning off. Sometimes it's smarter to take that morning off because on the Thursday night, possibly the second hardest session of the week, it's wrestling. Just pure wrestling, not jiu-jitsu wrestling, not MMA wrestling. It's just pure wrestling taught by UK MMA legend, the slam man, Abdul Muhammad. This is just where we're going over those solo drills, all those wrestling drills, rolling down the mats, the flips, the backhand push-ups, whatever you, flipping over, front head springs, shoots, shadow wrestling, into all the basic drills, pummeling, single leg entries, finishing the takedowns, finishing takedown sequences, the kind of chain wrestling sequences, all the defensive wrestling sequences. We drill those relentlessly, and then it's generally just open rounds, whether it's 3 or 4 minutes, and we can get quite a lot in. Again, because it's a 3-round fight, it's going to come down a little bit. Normally I'm doing 8 3-minute rounds or 7 4-minute rounds. By the time it's really close to the fight, like 2 weeks out, I'll do 5 rounds, maybe 6 3s or 5 4s of that, just hard as I can, and then that'll be done. That's wrestling. Even though I'm a pro, even though Harry's a pro, even though there's all these young people training, Abdul, who's retired like 10 years ago, still wrestles more than anyone else in the gym. It's insane. His work rate's insane. Friday morning, it's strength and conditioning again. So like I was saying earlier in the week, if we did lower body speed, lower body power, lower body repeated speed, we'll do upper body speed, like a speed bench or something like that, and then lower body strength, like a Zercher squat. How good was Tekken 4? This is where they got the Kyokushin Karate out of it. Kyokushin Karate, they got Ryu Narashima doing the motion captures. Ryu Narashima. If you haven't watched any Ryu Narashima, you're a scrub. Go fix that. One of the best left high kicks ever, one of the best liver shots ever. He was like 60 kilos and beat Kyokushin Karate guys who were about 90 or 100. But anyway, that was Friday morning, strength and conditioning. Similar structure to Tuesday, it's normally just a flip. Friday evening, striking drills. This is where it can get a lot more like pure K1 style striking drills. It doesn't always have to be super MMA specific. You can do those Muay Thai specific drills, those K1 style drills, repeated kicks, hand combinations into low kicks, that type of thing. Obviously with an eye for MMA. They're quite intense drills, just one for one. You know where you're using the boxing gloves as pads and you've got the shin pads on. Kind of like the Dwayne Ludwig style drills, back and forth. Again, it's depending, the drills themselves are depending on what the opponent's going to do, what the game plans are for me, Harry, or whoever else is fighting. It's tailored towards whoever's got that fight coming up. And then it's sparring. If it's out of camp, we'll just have those relaxed, nice Muay Thai spars where it's like low damage and we're just building technique, building volume. If we're in fight camp, we do harder shoot boxing spars. The 16-ounce gloves on is where you can do. Don't goo in the gym. Gooing in the gym is bad. Where you can do harder spars and throw your combinations a bit harder. You don't have to worry about catching anyone with the finger knuckles. 16-ounce gloves, we'll do like 5 3s or 3 5s or 4 5s. Again, it depends on fight camp. I've had a lot of fight camps for 5 rounds now, so I've ended up doing 5 5s or 6 or 7 4s, huge amounts of rounds. It's going to be bringing back down to 3 5s. But it's those kind of striking spars, shoot boxing spars, striking into takedown, a bit harder because the big gloves are on. It's end of the week actually, so you're not as fresh, so you can't throw as hard, weird as it sounds. So we can actually go a bit harder in intensity in terms of how we're throwing our strikes. Then we'll do some Thai clinch rounds after, or some body shot conditioning rounds, just to finish off, and maybe a bit more bag, just to make sure you can hit hard whilst you're fatigued from sparring. And now Saturday can vary. Saturday can vary depending on what phase of fight camp. So for now, I'm doing short positional sessions, 30 minutes, maybe a few intervals after, just to finish off for the week. We'll run through 3 positions. Maybe we'll have 3 partners. There'll be 2 partners working, doing the position, single leg attack, single leg defense. And then the one out will be doing ground and pound bag or standing bag work. And then at the end, I might just get some more escapes or some more takedowns, some more bad position work. Bad position work cannot be underestimated. If you want good strikes, good submissions yourself, do bad position work, because it's going to give you the confidence to actually go for those submissions and go for those takedowns and go for those strikes. Bad position work. Now, if it's in fight camp and it's getting close, we do what we call position pads. People give it sexier names like spiders or shark tanks or some other animals. I'm going to call it the herdwick, I've decided, because it's the best type of sheep. I said it was a goat earlier, but it's not, it's a sheep. Position pads, it's where it gets very specific to opponent. We're working out of bad positions. You might just start on a bottom half guard with your hands, that shoulder pressure across, and you've just got to get up and escape. Start with your back on the fence, start with someone on a back body lock, start with someone mounting you. You'll go for a minute and a half, just trying to get as many escapes as possible. If you're not up by the end of that minute and a half, time is paused, and you've just got to keep going until you're up. Then we'll go up, minute and a half pads, minute and a half position. It could be attacking. If you want to wrestle in the fight, could be attacking that single leg. And then back to pads. That's 1 round. So 1 round is 6 minutes, but it'll generally tend to run over because it will stop if you're not out of bad positions. We do 3 rounds of that if it's a 3-round fight camp. So 3 times 6 minutes. Generally, it's going to run over. So instead of being 18 minutes, it'll be 20 or something minutes. And we bring it down just slightly towards the end of camp. And then that's finished for Saturday. Some people do active rest. Active rest, it depends how much Nickelback you want to listen to with your girlfriend, but I tend not to go for active rest. I tend to just walk around the garden centres, have a nice Americano, and a nice little bit of Manjaros. I'm on my healthy protein caffeine meal prep through the week. And then on the weekend, it's Manjaros time. See you August 15th. Well, see you before then, because I'll be making more videos. I'm going to make a video every day for July. And when I get to 10k, I'm just going to change the channel into Yakuza karaoke covers. How about that?